Welcome to the Mouthfuls and Mic Drops podcast. I'm your lovely host, Cookie. So, today we're going to get into the nitty gritty. Like, what if I told you everything about 9/11 was a lie? Or what if we were in a matrix? All these things have in common are conspiracy theories, and we're going to dive into our favorite ones today. But first, before we do, open your mouths and salivate over James's menu.
Hey y'all, I'm James, your mouthfuls and mic drops mukbanger. Yeah, 3 M's. So for today's menu, we have ramen as always, but it has pinto beans, peas, green beans, tomato, and egg with a classic seafood flavor that we've been using, but also a cream of chicken base added to it to give it an extra thickness. So I haven't even tasted but it smelled really good. So we're going to unpack all this together. Let's see. That egg was super over easy. Let me angle it a little bit better. Ooh. Dang, like, I don't know why I'm being shy. I'm about to just, okay. Because we are starving. So, and that looks so good. Seasoned with black pepper, salt, and crushed red pepper already. Okay. Let's move that out of the way. And cheering, as always, to the Best Friends Cup and the Best Friend podcast. Chalice, the only one out of 4. Today's beverage is squirt.
Everyone gets to squirt but me.
Hey, you should try it.
I mean, if I wasn't single, I would be. I'm trying. Not for my like a trying. I'm trying to get there.
Speaking of food, we are welcoming you to the conspiracy corner. Not the horror corner today. We have no movie to talk about. We're going to get right into the nitty-gritty of conspiracies. And since we just transferred from James's menu, let's go ahead and start with mine. Now, what if I told you that the food that the government is creating was trying to mind control you? But you probably already knew that. Most people are aware of this. But let's break it down into why. We can start with the flaming hot Cheeto and how it has ingredients that leave your gut wanting more of it when you eat it. I personally have eaten an entire bag of flaming hot Cheetos, and I know I'm not alone in that. It was supposed to be stress relief, and it felt great and all, but like, what am I really putting into my body? Like, why do I want to keep eating it? So these ingredients are releasing, studies have shown that consumption of ultra-processed foods, particularly those high in refined carbohydrates and fats and sodium, can evoke dopamine responses in the brain's striatum, similar to those seen with addictive substances such as nicotine and alcohol. This dopamine release reinforces the behavior, leading to a cycle of reward seeking and overreacting. Point 2, bliss point and in engineered cravings. The concept of the bliss point, coined by market researcher Howard Moskowitz, refers to the optimal combination of sugar, fat, and salt that maximizes palatability. Food manufacturers utilize this concept to create products that are highly appealing and encourage overconsumption. Number 3, hyperpalatable foods and appetite regulation. Hyperpalatable foods characterized by levels of, again, fat, sugar, and sodium can disrupt the body's natural appetite regulation mechanisms. These foods stimulate the brain's reward system, leading to excessive eating and potential interference with hormonal signals that replace hunger and satiety. Last point, health implications of ultra-processed food consumption. Regular consumption of ultra-processed food is associated with increased risks of obesity, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and other chronic health conditions. These foods are often low in fiber and essential nutrients, contributing to poor health outcomes when consumed excessively. The last two were Wikipedia sources. So, what can we do to remedy the epidemic and the war on food on people? Well, first, we have to rewire our dopamine triggers and replace snack-induced dopamine hits with healthier sources. Exercise, especially high intensity hits, deep work or flow state productivity, creative expression, and a whole foods reintroduction. Gradual withdrawal from ultra processed snacks can help you reset your bliss point. Shift your diet to whole unprocessed foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, and lean meats. And improve your gut brain relationship by eating more probiotics and fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, and kefir. Avoid artificial sweeteners and emulsifiers. Combined eating practices. Practice mindful eating, focus, slow chewing, and gratitude. Create eating rituals free from screens and stress to disrupt unconscious eating loops. Read labels, understand ingredients. If you can't pronounce an ingredient or it includes natural flavors, hydrolyzed proteins, autolyzed yeast extract, be skeptical. Apps like Yuka or Fujike decode ingredient lists for health conscious shopping. Media literacy, train yourself to spot emotional manipulation in ads. Recognize marketing tactics that prey on mood, loneliness, nostalgia, or rebellion. And with that, I leave you.
I like that because it kind of reminds me of the Special K diet. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it was like, if you eat Special K every day for a week, you could be skinny too, kind of thing.
Yeah, because most of all that, to be honest, most of all that is just like a test subject. They're testing on us at all times, literally.
Woo, spicy already.
All right, Love Villa, let's get to your conspiracy.
That was mine.
Oh, it's kind of long.
All right, let's get let's get
It's kind of long. Okay. So boom, we're diving in today into the darkest confirmed government programs in U.S. history. Whew. When I did this research, I was like, you're not safe in the United States at all.
I mean,
okay, you're not safe. I'm at the bar. I get a drink. I might have a good, nice time. I see this beautiful woman. I'm thinking I'm got game. She gives me a drink. I get a little wheezy, little woozy. I pass out. I wake up in a room in a two-way mirror where I don't know where I'm at, but I'm high off LSD. All due to the CIA. So let's get to it. So this project is called the MK Ultra Project. It was a program that was from the 1950s all the way until the early 70s. Let's just 1950 to the early 70s. They was testing on just random people. You didn't even know it. To this day, it's a lot of people that don't even know that they got tested on. Or they might remember a night that they went to a bar or met a prostitute. And they was just high and they don't know what happened and they just had a good night. But technically you was being tested on. So the founder of this program was Alan Dulles. He approved the project. Him and a doctor named Dr. Edwin Cameron. Dr. Edwin Cameron was a doctor from Canada, and he did his own little projects out there in Canada. His project was to bring humans in a room and give them very high doses of LSD, make them go through isolation, dysteria, and electric shock therapy, just to see how the body does and how they react after all that while on LSD. Hold on, because I had a whole little thing right here. So basically, the objective of this program was to see if they can control humans' minds using LSD, while doing sensory deprivation, hypnosis, electric shock therapy, and many more. Because it's a lot of other files that they don't even know because they actually destroyed them and burned them. But some got recovered. So hold on, because I had hella notes. I do got hella notes. Hold on. Mm. So wait, first thing first, while I'm looking for these notes, do y'all believe in mind control?
Yeah.
I believe
See?
in mind manipulation, but not necessarily mind control.
Or could mind manipulation be mind control?
It could be, but at the end of the day, you still have your own like decisions. You're just stupid.
Not if you
Like
get MK Ultra.
I think
Oh.
fear can control a lot of people, but that's more of like a manipulation tactic and not necessarily a controlling thing.
I think you can
Okay.
definitely, I'm sorry, I think you can definitely engineer something in a lab and inject it into a human to get it to go to their brain, and it can be a controlled substance where XYX happens, you're gonna do this. If they have you and they catch you and they got you, they got you.
Like a sort of like a hallucinogen, like
Mm.
Mm, I'm thinking
Yeah.
more. I'm thinking more like insemination,
because
like
what was this an episode of? This was an
like
episode of
almost
something
parasite.
where they would take a
Yeah.
drug and they would tell somebody to do something, they would do it, and as soon as that task was over, they went blank. They didn't remember anything of what just happened. This has happened
Exactly.
in a lot of different shows and a lot of different movies, but I can't specifically point out one. Maybe the closest thing I can think of is um, what's the one on Apple TV where they work at the place and then when they leave work they don't remember where they're working? What's the It's on Apple TV.
Oh, and I know what you're talking about because I literally just saw the previews to that actually.
Yeah, I can't remember what I'm thinking of. If you know the name of the show,
And
I'm
what
thinking
about, leave it in the comments? And what about
Right.
hypnosis?
hypnosis. I don't necessarily. Well, I don't really believe in hypnosis, but I know people.
Yes.
I don't necessarily believe. Like I know it's real. I'm not going to say like it's fake. Like because I've seen people go under hypnosis where it's like be a chicken and like they're a chicken. Like so, I know it's real. I just don't necessarily understand how it's real.
Okay.
And I know that not everyone
So
can be
okay.
hypnotized. I know there are some people who just like it doesn't work on them.
And it's a reason for that because it's a part of their brain. So certain parts of the brains are actually more developed than others. And it's not saying like somebody is stupid, but they might have like a more, in layman's term, a barrier or something like that. So if you say like if you're a person that is open to like just to weird thoughts and shit like that, you're more like susceptible to be hypnotized. Like
I watched
literally.
a video on like somebody being hypnotized, and they were like, it does work if the person is more willing to be hypnotized.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah,
more
because it's very easy to
likely to
hypnotize
be
somebody.
hypnotized. And I was like, that's kind of cool. But I was like, the movie Now You See Me, where he's like
Mm-hmm.
hypnotizing the guy into getting money, and he finds out that he's been sleeping with the sister or whatever. That's what I would like to do. I'd be like, you thinking like I would like to do that. Like, give me your passcodes. Let me get inside them bank accounts. But I don't know if I would
Oh
be
my
willing
God.
to
Yes.
go to a
No.
hypnotist and see if they could hypnotize me. I feel like it's cool. Scary but cool.
Yeah, I would not let them do that,
I'm
actually.
good.
I'm
Really?
good on
You
that.
want to be kidding? Because
I'm
I know
good.
there's some
Um,
hypnotists where like they can hypnotize you into like not being a smoker anymore, and like that's very helpful
I
if you're
then
just
I
like
then I'm too spiritual for that. I can pray on that.
Yeah, what
Um,
else are you trying to get me to
like
not do?
yeah, like what else you trying
what?
to do?
True,
Like, and then on top of it, I am a black woman in America. I'm not gonna get hypnotized.
true,
They
true.
already trying to take me.
My sleeping
You're
body will
trying
never
to
be
take
around
me.
you or at your disposal, motherfucker.
Oh my God. So yeah, so the reason why they went from 1953 to all the way to 1973 is because they just didn't get caught. Nobody talked about it. Nobody said anything. It was
That's
literally like
basically the government
until
now.
one
That
day.
I have a theory that like the government, the reason why they want like media to like kind of cut down on what they're doing is because everything's out in the open now. Like you can't do anything without people knowing about it. And the government's like, well, how are we supposed to keep these
Yes
things
and no.
secret? But it's like, why should you be wanting
Because
to?
they feed you what they want you to hear and what they
Yeah, they
want you to
feed you what they
see.
want to hear. They want to keep you in a
Yeah,
mind of
that's it.
fear, a mind of complacency. They want to be able to control the world, but it's more like manipulating the world. We have the cards in our hand. We're going to keep the cards in our hand. Why would we give up these cards if we have them?
But unfortunately, they got caught in 1972. It was speculations because one of the biochemists was take what got was in the experiment, and he was basically they was experimenting on their own workers. So it was CIA agents they was experimenting on. It was doctors in there they was experimenting on, except for Dr. Erwin Kerman. So he was on his other BS because he was already experimenting on patients before he even got to the CIA on his own.
Wow.
So yeah, so basically his name is Frank Olson. Frank Olson supposedly died from a suicide off of a falling in a hotel. But the whole time he had high doses of LSD in his body when he was found. But they was like, oh no, he just took drugs and he jumped off the hotel thing. So yeah, so then after that, they started. It was one guy that just was like, "Look, I'm not believing this. What do you mean he worked for y'all and now he's like gonna kill himself? That don't make sense." And so they started diving into it, finding out one of the I think the head person, Alan Dulles, decided, "Oh, this is getting too close. Let's start burning files." Once he started burning files, it was up. They decided like, oh yeah, no, he's burning files. What the hell are you burning files for? You know what I'm saying? Like, what you trying to hide? So basically, they caught them and they got a how you say? They caught them and then they were still kind of going. So it took almost 2 years for it to really end. So they brought it to the light, but then it was just like, okay, we just didn't end it right there. So they were still working on people. They were still like testing on people, down to like people that would go to the hospital and didn't have family or something like that. They
Uh-huh.
would test on you. They would test on you.
Jane Doe's.
Yeah, they would test on you. And so, like, this even goes to the fact of like, 'cause the United States has always been in the background where the United States want to try to do mind control for like warfare and like just to control the masses. So that's what was funny what you said about the food, James, about mind control because it's still happening and everybody's like even now like one of the other conspiracy on the side of this is like MK Ultra basically changed its name, and it can be a whole nother program now. But a lot of people just not paying attention and whatever. But yeah, down to the food. Like the food is controlling. Even with media, like it's certain little like codes in the screen that can make you drawn to like even keep scrolling and how your
Mm-hmm.
algorithm is. Everything is into like controlling the mind,
Oh my
putting
God.
controlling the masses, putting everybody in a line and all that. So that's really why this shit went on that long. Poor guy, because he was just had a job and they was testing on my man. They was testing on him and a bunch of other people. It's over. They say almost over 1 million people was tested on. A lot of people don't know. They don't know. They don't know.
And
They
still
even
getting
saying that
tested
this
on
is
to this day.
yeah, because now they're even saying that like this can be probably a Project Monarch, and celebrity mind control down to like what Kanye West and Britney Spears and stuff like that. Like,
Gucci
oh,
Mane.
what was going on? Yeah, because is that the real Gucci Mane? Okay, that's a whole other episode. But is that the put in the comments, y'all? Is that the real Gucci Mane? Because I don't think the ice
I don't
cream, I
know.
don't think the tattoo was in the right placement. They didn't do they right. They didn't
People
do it
are
right.
robots.
And
But
Gunna.
oh yeah.
Why do they look
So
so healthy
they
and
even they
different?
even say that.
They look
Who?
like themselves, but they don't look like themselves. They look like the
Who?
from SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah. So
Who?
basically, they saying that it just disappeared, but it went underground, and then all of a sudden, Project Monarch was created.
Gonna.
So basically, they're saying that Project Monarch is basically MK Ultra in disguise,
I
and
need to figure
now
out
they're
who the Gunna
praying.
is.
Who is what?
Gunna.
Oh, Gun. You don't know. You would know who Gunna is. Yeah, that makes sense. You would know who Gunna is. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Just look him up. Just
I
look him
definitely
up.
know. I definitely don't know
Uh,
who it is.
so this is where the conspiracies jump into pop culture. Monarch theory suggests that the CIA continue experimenting, but focus only on creating mind control operatives on celebrities and entertainment. According to the theory, certain celebrities are pre-programmed using trauma-based mind control, splitting into personalities to create alter egos. People point to Britney Spears, Kanye West, even Beyonce and Lady Gaga as an example.
But do you think that's harder to prove with today's like TikTok culture and a lot of people putting their lives out in the open?
Because it's on that's a clip. That's a clip. We're
Because,
looking
like
at a clip.
because like Britney Spears, you're like, okay, people, they're controlling Britney Spears. Like, what do you mean by that? Because Britney Spears has always been a little cuckoo.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it was cuckoo, but it's a certain line. So when she started doing that other shit, and when she was under the what's the how you say
The,
with her
the
dad,
yeah, the conservative shit.
Conservatorship.
what's the word for that? The
Conservative shit.
conservatorship. Yeah, like she wasn't herself. Like I didn't see her. Like you could kind of see when they switch, and it's just like, oh, this is not the same person.
But now
So I
she's
don't
not
know.
under
Some
the
people can see
conservative
it.
shit, and she's the same cuckoo crazy bat that she was before. Like
Yeah,
I
because
was like,
if you're getting programmed, that brain
I
doesn't
don't
go
know,
back.
y'all.
That
I be
brain's a
watching some
muscle.
Britney's videos, and I be like, maybe she shouldn't have had control over
But it's a
her
different kind of
body.
crazy. It's a different kind of
Yeah, it's a
crazy.
different kind of
When she was
crazy. Like
doing
I
that,
understand being wild and eccentric, but that's a different kind of crazy.
when she was shaving her head, is like, okay, that's just
There
mental
was
health.
clearly something going on, right?
Right. That's like a cry for help. But
Right.
now fast forward to the alleged after MK Ultrage, where she's spinning around with knives. It just doesn't, it's not the same thing. It's like, and it's I don't believe like she's
Hmm.
getting worse and worse and worse, but it's like not just the spinning and the knives, it's also like the glitches. Like where did that come from? Like
She's weird.
the articulation is even
It
different. It's just
seems
not the same
weird because
Britney.
like it would seem weird if you're not a Britney fan, but if you're a Britney fan, I'm not a Britney fan, by the way, so it seems weird to me.
Oh,
So,
I'm a
but if
Britney
you're a
fan.
Britney fan, you've been following
Yeah.
her on, maybe not Instagram because Instagram's not that old. Her career outspans Instagram and like MySpace and websites like that. But like now that the internet is more present and prevalent, it's more out there. So it's like you can't really say, oh, well, this is abnormal because we didn't really have this kind of technology in 2000. You know what I'm saying? Like MySpace was considered like the best app, and those was mostly pictures. They weren't videos, they weren't clips, they weren't like it was like let's post a song, let's post a picture of me. Great, now you're following me. And things like TikTok and Instagram started to come out, Vine started to come out where it became more like of you. You're putting more of yourself onto this app. And so people are like, well, this is weird. You don't know if that's weird because she could have really been like that before, and we never really saw that part of her.
You said the
I mean,
you
yes and no, because you had like when we was for media and shit like that, we had camera people out there that was taking videos of them and
paparazzi.
taking clips of them by themselves and she wasn't acting like that. Even in interviews, she even talked different in interviews. So
And
I get like acting weird, but if you're in an interview, you're gonna kind of change and be more talkative and be more presenting more better. And she's not doing it. It's
I've I've
different.
be- I've been hearing about the MK Ultra thing for a while now, and there's always one common thing when we're talking about celebrities and pop culture. After the MK Ultra, the artist either like stops making music entirely or makes a completely different type of music. and to the point where it
Mhm.
almost doesn't even seem like them anymore, or like
Mhm.
they completely like came away from their roots, or it's like generated by probably AI, the music. They make less like public appearances in person. So back to your point about the TikTok and the accessibility. Yeah, we didn't have it, but now that we do have it, I feel like they think, well, let's use that. Like we'll upload a TikTok of our clone of our mind control freak, so they can just let the people know that, oh, I'm still crazy. Oh, I'm still unhinged. Listen, when the people who were getting MK Ultra, they were getting MK Ultra for a reason. It's because they were speaking and talking about things and doing things and exposing things that they should had no business doing. That is a bad look on certain
Mhm.
industries, right? So they take them, they do the best to mind control, alter, but keep the same essence, and then they've got them by the hook. Oh, you want to act out again? We'll see what happens to you next time you open your mouth. Is what I get.
So I need
Yeah,
enough
because it seems like in the
intelligence.
beginning they started doing, like in the beginning they started doing regular like random people, but it makes sense like transition from then to now that they wanted to focus on celebrities because celebrities was in the limelight. Celebrities, we us regular people was gonna see the celebrities on TV. We're gonna see the celebrities on our phone. We're gonna see celebrities everywhere now. So why not have that clone out there to do their little dance and to bring? Oh well, maybe this is okay. Like I don't know. I don't. I'm not gonna give them. I don't sweep that shit under the rug like that easily because we know what's good.
I need other
Like for
examples,
real.
though.
We have to go into it on another day,
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I was surprised when they said Lady Gaga
but it's
when I did
deep.
the research because Lady Gaga, I was like, I don't think she's. I thought that was just like a little alter ego. Like a lot of people have alter egos. So I didn't think that was
Yeah,
like
she has
really
a
bad.
few.
But then
Yeah, she
I
has a
don't know.
few.
I started doing deep dives. Yeah, like I started doing deep dives in Lady Gaga, and then it turns out that her personality was from a girl that died. That was one of her friends. So I don't know. That's a whole other conversation. But to end this out,
Okay, so are y'all ready for this conspiracy?
indeed,
Yes.
indeed,
The Earth is older than we think. Let's start there.
duh.
So they predict the Earth to be about 4 billion years old,
Young
approximately.
for a youngin.
A little toddler Earth, if you will, right? And the life expectancy of humans to be on this Earth is about another 1.5 billion years. After that, humans will no longer be able to inhabit Earth as a planet because, due to the sun's lifespan and the Earth's lifespan, humans are destined just to die out. But I was having a theory of maybe the Earth is older than 4 billion years old, and maybe human life is going to shrink a lot sooner than we think. And the reason why I started thinking about this was like I was like one day I just thought about it. I was like, at what point did humans decide on recording a date? Like, when was humans being like, today is January 3rd, 1993? Because I was like, if you start to go back, a lot of those calendars are like not in English, not even in modern day any language. Honestly, like a lot of them is in ancient hieroglyphics. A lot of it is just predicting what they thought it could have been, or like based. I mean, still even have statues of sundials that still rotate on the sun. But then what
Not
really got
sundials.
me,
I'm dead.
but what really got because I was like, well, how did we figure out what was spring, what was summer, and what was the end of the year? Like, how did we determine today is the end of the year? Like, how did that happen? Because if you think about
The
it,
killer part is the end of the year is not even the same end of the year that we had back then. I like our calendar is fake now.
yeah. So I was like, if you really think about it, like way back in yonder days before calendars were even invented, how are they able to be like, oh, today's the last day of the year, guys, let's do it next year? Because that doesn't really make sense to me. And then I
The
looked up
weather
something.
though.
The weather, but I mean, it's cold. If you have 4 months of winter, how do you know which winter is winter? Let's think about Ohio, for example. Ohio snow can start as early as November and end as late as March. January is in the middle of that. So you can't really be like, oh, well, it's the coldest day of the year, so let's put this as the end of the year, because that is a very fluctuant cold. And if you sometimes March is colder than January. So there really isn't no exact way for someone to be like, okay, well, this is the end of the year. So then I started looking up calendar systems. I was like, okay, well, what's our calendar system? Most modern day people, because I'm not going to say everyone, because there are definitely still some societies that do not use this calendar. It's called a Georgian calendar. So we are on a Georgian calendar, and before the Georgian calendar, we were on a Julius calendar, and before that, we were on whatever the fuck we were on. But if you look up October 1952, I believe.
Yeah, it skips. And
It
that's when we switched
skipped.
over to the new calendar. Yeah,
That's
that's
when
why I
we
say the
switched
old
over from,
calendar.
yeah, like in
Yeah.
the middle of October, we did, or 1980, or is it 1950, 1980? I keep saying 1582. October 1582. Look up a picture of October 1582. We literally skip in the middle of that month because we switched from the Julian calendar to the Georgian calendar. So it literally goes 1, 2, 3, 4, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 15, 16, 17 throughout the rest of the day. And that's when the Georgian calendar starts, technically would be in November 1st of 1582. So I was just like, if that's what the calendar was before, how can we really know if the dates are technically accurate? Because those dates will just start adding up. And then the Julian calendar is completely different because they work off the day of the year. So if it's like December, your day is going to be day 300 and et cetera, et cetera. But if it's January, your day is going to be 1. So they even have it differently, set up differently. So I was like, there's no way to really predict what year we're in based off of the calendars that we've used, considering that they've changed the calendar system a few different times. And that's not even talking about the fact that we go into leap year, and when we do leap year, we add an extra day, and when we do daylight savings,
oh my God.
add an additional day. So those days start to
Yeah, the killer
add
part is we don't
up.
even we don't supposed to have August.
It's
Like
like
August is not supposed to be on the calendar.
they just make it up. And then you start to think about states that don't recognize daylight savings. What kind of calendar are you using that you don't recognize daylight savings? Something's not adding up.
That just
Arizona,
that just
Arizona
fucked my mind.
doesn't. Arizona does not support daylight savings. They don't do it. But then it's like,
But I mean, I think they would still be looking at the same calendar. They just don't, they
but how
not
do they
switching their
not
clock
have
around.
25 hours in a day then? If they don't do daylight savings, they have 25 hours in a day. Because that's what it is. We lose an hour, we gain an hour to keep out that equilibrium of 24. That's what we do.
Yeah, and that's really made up because who is the black scientist? I forgot his name, but everybody know who he is. But he literally said we really don't even have 24 hours in a day. We actually have 23 point something.
Right. It gets shorter every year, which is why we do the daylight savings. It gets shorter every year, and that's because the earth is moving every year. The earth gets slightly slower every year, shortening the days. So it's like if Arizona isn't doing these daylight savings, they cannot be working on a 12-hour clock system
This just opened up
because it
so
just
many
wouldn't add up.
questions and portals. Um, I feel like
But
we're the
there's
only people who use daylight savings, I think. It's like
there
this
are multiple
particular
people that do. We're not the only country that does, but there are definitely countries
that
that
don't do it.
don't that
There's a
don't.
lot of people who don't, like
Yeah.
Japan, for example. No. Um, so it's like, are we even? I feel like a lot of the whole system of time and minutes and seconds I feel like that was just made so we can like measure
Have
whatever.
a concept of
Yeah.
something.
But then if what you're saying that the if the Earth were to move faster and faster or slower and slower, or the days would get shorter and shorter as time goes on, doesn't that mean like time is like either speeding up or like moving back, like moving slower or like fluctuating? I feel like it's not always
Time does
going
fluctuate. I mean, there's a theory that
Yeah.
time is flux. It's like
in
so.
flux,
Yeah. So there's one
constantly in
100%
flux.
fact that this Earth is moving slower because it's trying to get to equilibrium. That's what the Earth is trying to do. So every year it turns
Hmm.
slower than a year before. So the days in 1952 are no longer the days from 2025 because it goes slower literally every single year. And I think that's why they tried to do the whole like, oh, it's a new year type of thing. So then they could try to estimate when the earth would basically implode on itself. But yeah, the earth would move slower every single year. That is
You,
100% fact. What
you just
means
made
today
up
is
New Year so you could calculate
But
sales.
but the
basically
time thing was more on some like control shit.
on
Like
some more, it goes back to
it's
Peach's
like
theory. It all comes down to a group of people wanting power to control things. I want to control what date it is. I want to control what time it is. Why?
it's everything's a control tactic.
Everything. And
Like
then there's a
even down to like schools and the buzzing in a school and recess. That is literally controlling and literally like having kids in a box in this room. We have to learn. We have to do this. Okay, bing, and then now this sound is like creating. Oh, I need to go. I need to get up. I need to. That's all controlling.
so then
So
I
when you get
realized that
older and you do be a criminal and you go to jail,
now
there
you
we
in a
go.
box again in a
Now you at
uniform.
school again.
Now you're at school in a box in a uniform.
Hmm.
Whew.
But there's a theory that the Earth is actually 10 billion years old.
That would make sense, actually.
And let's not forget what I said earlier. The Earth's lifespan is only about 10 to 15 billion years old, which means that if Earth is already at 10 billion years old and humans have 1.5 billion years left on this Earth as of right now, who's to say with them messing around with the calendars and all this other stuff? I think Mayans had it right that the Earth is going to die in 2012. I think they just had the wrong 2012. I think they calculated wrong. So maybe it's not
Hmm.
2012, but maybe it was a couple hundred years off of 2012. So, like, there's a theory that the Earth is 10 billion years old. And the idea is that NASA and major universities and global space agencies allegedly suppressed finding of pre-solar isotopic anomalies in ancient rocks, such as fragments that contain minerals older than the sun itself.
The
These
mineral
anomalies
kingdom, Christology.
These anomalies hint that parts of the Earth may have survived a pre cosmetic cycle, possibly a rogue planetary core, and wandered the galaxy before being captured in our solar system. The evidence of this, which is like very, very minimum, is called the zircon crystals. It's a group
These are the
of
15 most fascinating
geologists.
segments.
Oh,
Oh,
hello?
that was my phone.
Oh.
Oh,
So
snap.
zircon crystals is a group of geologists in the 1970s that allegedly discovered zircon crystals in Australia that contain isotopic traces inconsistent with the Earth's current age. These crystals were quickly removed and the team was disbanded under mysterious circumstances. Then there's the theory of sunken continents, that ancient structures deep beneath the ocean floor, unmapped and kept off of Google Earth, suggest a age far older than any known human or pre-human civilizations. Some of these formations are suspected to predate even the moon's formation. And then there's something called the deep Earth clock, which, according to conspiracies, buried deep within the Earth's mantle, is the deep Earth clock that keeps time based on its cosmetic radiation decay. And that shows a time that is more than 10 billion years old.
Yeah, that would make way more sense though.
So
Yeah, it
so
really would.
so not only are we in a simulation, but it's
It would.
actually an action adventure RPG.
Ah.
Basically. Basically.
Basically, that is
Basically.
crazy.
The earth is flat. No, I'm just kidding. We live in a dome. The
Uh,
dome theory. I should have did the dome. I should have did the dome theory, but I was like, let me
we can
just
The
do
dome
one.
theory.
definitely
Oh yeah,
Let me just
that
do
actually was
one.
one of mine. That
we
was
can
another one I was
definitely
gonna do. The
have
dome
another
theory.
conspiracy episode.
Listen, I got two more. Humans didn't evolve from apes, which I technically don't believe myself, but I do got some evidence that could probably rock the boat.
And humans did
Uh,
evolve from apes, but it just wasn't black people.
that part. And we can. And then I have another one that is about, I guess, the moon landing, which I also don't
The moon
necessarily
landing.
believe, and then a little bit about 9/11, but that's like I didn't really want to
Yeah, I
do.
wanted to do the moon landing, but the so a lot of podcasts are doing the moon landing,
Yeah.
like a
And
lot of
like
them.
honestly, talking about the
Uh,
moon landing in 2025, like come on, what are we still arguing about? Regardless of if
uh,
that exact event was faked, we did go to the moon at some point.
at some point,
That is
yeah.
a fact. Rather the moon landing itself was fake, America went to the moon, y'all. Like it is what it is. I hate to tell you. I hate to
Oh
tell
my
you.
god.
We still should do an episode about it because if everyone else is doing it and we're a podcast, we should have a moon landing episode,
We
just
should
our
have our
style.
own opinions on the moon landing. I
Uh, for
agree.
for
I don't
example,
know.
don't even know a lot
I'm a
about
little
it.
different.
Like
I'm like,
I
I
was
don't want to do
taught
what everybody else is doing.
I was taught that it was it actually happened. It was a historical thing, but
Mhm.
I've never really heard the argument of or like the evidence about it being fake or the reason why people would think it's
The
fake.
evidence is very, very weak. It basically says like, how could we have went to space way back yonder when, and we haven't been back to space? Well, specifically the moon since that happened. That's the main. That's the main like
Oh,
of it. Like, how could we have done it way back in the 50s and we haven't been to the moon? We
why
haven't.
aren't we doing it like all the time?
Yeah, like why aren't we like
Well, that's
always
a good
in?
question. Why aren't we doing it all the time?
I mean,
Mhm.
we've been to the moon a few times. Like that's the problem is that we've been to the moon a few times. We just don't report on it because we've already achieved the goal of going to the moon.
Hmm.
We get launched into
Mhm.
space all of the time. We just got our astronauts back. Shit, we just got them bitches back
Oh,
on Earth.
right. See, I
Like
wanna know why we're going to the moon.
they
But
collected
because
dirt.
it's a whole nother thing up there of
Yeah,
governments
they're
to get
trying to like
into.
see if they
Like,
can establish life, things like that. Yeah.
yeah. But they have established life in space. They have established life in space plenty of times.
Like they're doing it on the moon, Mars.
Yeah, yeah.
Their
Because I
whole
think
thing. Like,
they took a sample of a plant that they found. In one part they found water. Another part that they found like a slight oxygen where actually something can live. And yeah, the only thing about it is the way that our health is down here. What I know of, if you ever smoke, you can't go to the moon. You can't go to outer space because
there's
your
a lot
lungs
of things
like
that
implode.
happen to your body from going into space. Like even the astronauts themselves, their life expectancy is supposed to be shorter than a normal human life because they're constantly being exposed to different types of pressure, different like their eyes start to bulge out, like their skin starts
Uh,
to change and shit. Like yeah,
We're Earthlings
yeah,
for a
that's
reason.
yeah, we're supposed to be on Earth for a reason. Like we're like the way like did y'all see the pictures of the astronauts before they left and the picture of them after they look old as fuck.
they do. But then the crazy part is the guy that went underwater and he was in that capsule for like a month or something like that. He came out and they did a test on him and he was younger. His skin was better. His bone density was like higher. Like I don't know if it was maybe like underwater and it was cool and the pressure or something like
Pressure.
that. But
Right. Like the pressure,
yeah,
the
like
fact that he wasn't
he was
exposed to the sun as
good.
much. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah,
No, that's
That's
what
a
I
good
yeah. But I
call
guess
conversation for another day.
hydrotherapy.
Like, are we gonna do a conspiracy on Atlantis? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean I'm a nerd for Atlanta, so we could definitely do
Yeah,
that. For real.
totally.
All right, let's get into this quiz because I'm kind of interested
Okay.
to see what you got planned for this quiz.
Let's play. Let's have some fun with this. We have a bonus segment. Name a snack that feels like a trap.
A snack that feels like a trap?
Yes.
Anything with artificial sugar in it.
Okay. Cookie.
I guess I would say yogurt.
Hmm.
Is
But
a
you
because
know
depending
what?
on what kind of yogurt you're eating, it's really bad for you.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
because I
really,
don't know
really
how
bad for
people
you.
eat Yoplait. Like, why are we still eating that?
Why are we still eating Yoplait?
Why are
It's
we
one of
still
Because
the
it's
eating
worst.
good.
Yoplait? Oh my god.
It's one of the
Ugh.
worst yogurts to be out on the market. You were
It's so
talking
much
about
sugar in
Yuki.
it.
I've been told y'all about Yuki because I have Yuki downloaded on my phone. So I've been
Mm.
hip Yuki,
Yeah,
and I was telling you
Oh
guys
I
yeah,
about
the
it.
remember
the
that.
Yuka app. Yeah.
Okay, so
So yeah, yogurt. That
so
would be my
yogurt
answer.
could be a good or bad trap. Now, for me, it's like my downfall is soda. Like I
Well, I
have
don't
got
drink soda.
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't have that problem.
I'm drinking squirt.
You are
Um,
drinking
Yeah.
squirt. Where'd
Yeah,
you get it from?
my kidneys will fucking die on me if I drink too much pop. No.
listen, where I'm from, we don't have squirt. Okay, so I'm living like
Where are you from?
Ohio?
Where you from? What you know
Ohio
what?
has squirt. What are you talking
I
about?
never heard of squirt until I moved to Chicago or squirt ain't
What?
never
You've never
Like, cause I'm
seen
like, squirt is
squirt?
national.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Are we from the same Ohio? Because Ohio 100% be selling squirt in that Kroger's. Where's Megan? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Squirt is so good, and when you
oh.
mix it with the tequila or the vodka or any other alcohol, it just
Yes, I was very much doing that at over 21.
Yeah, when I was
yes,
drinking pop, yeah, squirt was one of my favorites. I used to love
it
squirt.
is my favorite. Okay, so
I
yeah,
still like
Yeah.
squirt, just not the soda.
so does my trap, and I'm gonna try to drink more water and eat more kimchi.
I
So
drink only water. Hint is my favorite brand, and then I drink sparkling water, and that's pretty much
Oh my
it.
god, I hate hint.
You don't like Hint? That's all
I
I drink.
don't. I
I love
don't.
it.
Oh my god.
next
It's
question:
really a hint.
if your ex were a processed food, what would they be?
if
Oh,
if my ex was a processed food, what would they be?
I'm about to
They
answer
would
that.
be a I used to call people bagels all the time,
A
but
processed
I would
food.
say because a bagel has nothing to it. It's pretty boring, just a plain basic bagel, no cream,
Mm,
no sugar, no nothing. That's what I
unless it's
used
an
to call
everything
people.
bagel.
That's not the point because I said plain bagel, which means you
Okay,
can't be
Mm,
an everything bagel.
right.
But
mm, mm.
That everything
a
bagel be
processed, what do
hitting.
you consider a processed food?
What we just talked about.
Like snacks and stuff?
Yeah.
Because technically everything could be a
Snacks, a
processed food.
microwave dinner, like
Okay,
Oh
okay,
yeah, the
okay.
word process
Like
is thin line.
highly processed food. Okay. Um, maybe like, oh, this is hard. Come back to me.
mm,
Pack of ramen
A pepper ramen. Why?
without the seasoning.
Damn, just dry as fuck.
mm.
It's
Flavorless.
not dry as fuck. Like more like it has some substance, just no flavor.
I'm gonna say mine is a donut
The
because
fuck?
Just a
because
glazed
you
donut.
because you think it's really sweet,
That's
you
funny.
think you really want it, and then when you have it, you're like, maybe this is not what I actually wanted. Maybe I actually just wanted
Wait.
something sweet
So
and not
wait. So
just donut.
is it one of those donuts that look good but actually is tough
But
and
actually,
stale?
it's not. It's just stale. Like you get
It,
it, and you're like, "Oh, I've been wanting this donut my whole yet. Like, give me this
yeah,
donut. Put it in my
yeah.
mouth." And then you get it, and it's first of all, it's dry. It's not even that glazed. Like you realize it's not as sweet as it is, and then it's fucking stale as fuck. And you try to warm it up a little bit, and it's still kind of just coming out wrong. Like that's what I would say. It's just donut, and that's Tandrew. Tandrew, you're a donut.
Oh,
Andrew,
now
Call
not the
back.
name dropping.
not we
Call back.
revenge. No, she ain't name drop, but not we going
Not
back for
Cookie.
more, getting more licks in. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, indeed. Oh my
Okay,
god.
so if my ex was um unprocessed food, it would be probably like a bag of chips because like they're so addictive, but they're not good for you, and like
And they're full of air.
they're full of salt. Yeah.
Salty and full of air.
Right.
That was a really good question. I gotta start putting food names to all the people on my phone now because I just have them as code names.
I put them with animals
Animals, I might
all the
do that
time.
too.
Yeah. I put them with animals every time. Like I actually put everybody with animals, but
Yeah, you
that's
do.
just a me thing.
Right.
I
I'll
know.
never forget the one time you told me I was what did she say? I think it was
Oh,
a
what I
meerkat
say?
or like a mountain lion or something.
Yeah, I was like, give me lion advice, something like that. Something like that. Because I'm like, we're part of animals too. Like it's deeper
Yeah.
than that. Mention off stuff. Somebody y'all can say either it's ridiculous or it's real.
Okay.
So the first one, like I already said, birds aren't real.
Okay.
Huh?
Should we be writing our things down or should we do like a fake clipboard or like because I have my answer for this.
Okay, well I have the real answers right here. So it's you'll say your thing and then I'll let you know like well technically. So yeah, just tell
Okay,
me your
Janice, you
answer.
go first.
Are
Birds real.
birds real?
Real or fake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say inconclusive. I believe some birds are fake. And I think some birds are real.
Exactly.
And
My
here's
mouth
why.
is on the
Have you
fucking
Well,
ever
floor.
listen though, have you ever and first of all, let's not even talk about how the CIA did at one point experiment on animals putting microchips in their blaring. That was an actual thing, right? They did it on cats, they
thank
did it on birds, they did it on
you.
dogs. So this is a thing that happened. But also, if you just have ever looked at a way a bird moves, some birds move very naturally and they look very much real, but some birds, they just look fucking fake.
They
They just
look
look
very
like it's a
robotic.
robot. They just look like a
They look
robot.
very robotic.
Can we talk
Like
about
Yeah.
how
seagulls for me, seagulls look so much like a robotic bird. The way they move, the way they look, the way they fly, it doesn't look natural.
Mm.
Yeah, they're probably why they're little assholes. It's the government.
And the way they like they literally move like this. Like somebody's got a
um,
controller like they just don't move naturally to
so
me.
what did you got to say about the penguin? Are they
I love
the
penguins.
penguins are like almost like dinosaurs, to be honest. So they're here to stay. They're cool.
I love
But when it
penguins.
comes down to like say like the pigeon. Now the pigeon was real at one point. I've had like family members that actually back in the day used to eat pigeons. So
Oh, that
like the
sounds
pigeons
so
was
good.
real.
I'm
No.
sorry, go
Pigeons.
ahead.
Anyway, hey, leave me alone.
I have
Hey,
never
leave
had
me
squab.
alone. But
Pigeons.
yeah, but like I'm with Cookie on this. Like some are real and some are fake. But the research says that they're real.
Right. If you just look
So
at a bird
yeah.
for too long, they
Um
start looking back at you, and you're like, "Get out my fucking face, bitch! The fuck is going on?"
oh snap. So the next one is the government controls the weather using a giant antenna that's in Alaska. Real or ridiculous?
So this goes kind of on the dome theory a little bit that they control the weather, they control the sunlight. I don't know. I would
They
say
have fake sunlight now. You can actually buy fake sunlight now.
right. I'm gonna say no, just because it would be hard to do on a global scale.
No.
Not a lot of countries like America anymore, and I feel like you really got to be like tight with a bunch of countries to try to control the weather because it doesn't just affect the United States; it affects everything, everywhere, all at once.
Well, they say real refers to HAARP. Widely believes in this conspiracy. It has been proven that they actually do have something out there that can kind of control snow and wind and stuff like that.
Well, that would make sense.
So
That would make sense for the North Pole. You want the
That would
North.
make sense for like wind because like that's as simple as a wind turbine, right? Like wind turbines exist to keep the current of the wind. And
but
Yeah.
if that's the
also,
case, that
like,
means they start tornadoes. They control tornadoes.
I wouldn't necessarily say tornadoes, but wind turbines are like a great source of like electricity. So like and it also helps control that current of wind of like if the wind were
Mm-hmm.
to stop, it goes through the wind turbine and goes back out so it can continue on its path of like windery.
Windery.
Could technically start a tornado because that wind that's coming in is a certain temperature, and basically a tornado is a flux of that wind's temperature. So I guess it could technically start a tornado.
It could exactly, and on top of that, we all know that population control is real, and this is why a lot of disasters happen. This is why
Population
mysterious
control is definitely
fires
real.
fires happen. The California fires, they literally said that they saw somebody starting
They
those fires.
California fires, they flat out admitted that they started them. And I don't know
Yes,
why that wasn't like more of a thing. They was like, when we started the fires, I was like, we?
we started the
Who's
fires.
we?
They
Who's
didn't prep that man in the back. They didn't prep him in the back. They didn't,
we, sir?
even down to the disaster that happened in Hawaii. Like, why was all the blue items not burned down, but then everything
Right,
else was burned down? It's actual
right.
footage that it was a laser that was like starting fires everywhere out there.
I heard
So
the same
yes,
thing.
unfortunately, it's for the research. It says that it is real. The third will be now. This is hilarious. I don't know why this is on here, but it is what it is. I guess some people believe this. Tom Hanks is actually a high-level reptilian overlord from the fifth dimension.
Yes.
Tom Hanks?
Father
Like
Hanks.
Woody from Toy
Yes,
Story?
yes,
That's a lot, but
yes.
yes.
Now, why
No.
do you say yes, James?
Fake.
Because he's too good of an actor. He's too handsome.
What?
He's too perfect. And
If you would have said Mark Zuckerberg, I would have been with you. Tom Hanks, that guy's golden. He's as good as it can get. He freaking like reprimanded his own son because his own son was a shithead. And he was like, I will not be a part of your life. I will seriously cut you off if you don't get your shit together. Like, his son's a piece of shit. And he was like, I don't even want to associate with you because you're a piece of shit. Like, no, Tom Hanks is golden. He's golden.
so what's the answer?
They say it's ridiculous. So
That
number
is ridiculous.
4, Denver International Airport is secretly an headquarters of the Illuminati.
No, we all
Denver?
know that that's Silicon Valley.
Denver?
You know something?
Denver? No. If you
Yes.
would have said Chicago International or Atlanta International, I would have been there with you. Denver? Come on now. Denver?
Yeah. Well,
Why do you say that?
actually, it is real. Denver has a underground facility that nobody can go in. Certain celebrities can go in, and they've been on. If you ever look into the Denver International Airport, it's so much like footage and so much like just people like them. It's a big ass statue of like I think a horse or something, and that horse supposed to like come out and you can walk down into the tunnels. They People have shown the plans of how it was made under there, and like the airport is just a front status. But it says on the research that it actually is real.
I believe that Denver Airport has an underground system because there's a lot of places that got underground systems. But Denver, of all places, if you would have had me at Atlanta, because Atlanta's international airport
But
is
see,
its own city.
but that's
But
what you're saying is obvious. That's obvious because Denver, nobody would have ever thought of Denver. Like, oh, well, Denver's just like whatever. That makes sense. Because
I
why
don't
would they
know.
yeah, like somewhere popular? That doesn't make sense. That's too open. That's too like, nah.
But that
Uh-uh.
would be
But
hiding in plain
yeah,
sight, though. People
yeah.
don't see things that are
I
hiding
mean,
in
yes and
plain
no.
sight.
For it to be in Denver, that's hiding in plain sight. And Denver's getting more and more
That's hiding in
popular.
plain sight. Because your first thought was, oh, Denver? No. Could be. And that's what they're expecting. Um Number 5, bees are aliens sent to spy on us and collect our DNA via pollen. That is so crazy.
No.
I mean, if you would have said mosquitoes, you would have got me there. I do hate
Oh,
bees, So because I hate bees, I'm going to agree with this theory because I hate them.
It's definitely ridiculous, guys. Oh, wow.
I'm biased. Fuck them bees. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we need the bees. We're
I
losing
know we
bees,
need them, but fuck
actually.
Yeah,
them.
we need the bees for the earth.
Like, we're actually, like, our
But first of
insects
all,
are going down,
everyone's like,
actually.
America needs bees. America needs bees. Bees are not even American, bitch. They were brought
Oh,
to us. They were
okay.
slaves just like me. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. So,
No.
guys, she has a
No,
vendetta towards the bees.
bees are not native to the United States in any type of way. There is no bee
It's
that
a
is
lot
native
of
to the
insects
United
that's
States.
not native to the United States.
Bees were literally brought to America by like other people, like the Spanish, the English, like they aren't native to America. So to say that America needs bees is ridiculous when they're not
Yeah,
even from here.
they need bees because we got cotton.
Ooh,
But you only saying that because you don't like them, because we kind of
yeah,
do need the bees.
We do
yeah.
need the bees
You
for
were,
We
you're
need the
right.
bees.
the
You're right.
fucking
We do need
You're
the
ozone
right.
bees.
layer, the pollination, the
Thank you, James.
oxygenation,
I just hate bees.
honey,
Thank you, James.
I just hate them. I don't like
the
bees, man.
ecosystem, the
Thank you,
food
James.
chain.
I am pro bee movie. No, just bee movie.
Bee
Oh,
movie.
wow. Oh, we're gonna have Peter coming to
I know,
comments.
right?
Wow. Number the CIA once tried to make a cat spy
That's
by
true.
implementing a
That's
micro
true.
phone in a cat.
Yeah, that's true.
In a
I just
cat.
mentioned this.
I
That's true.
believe it.
Yeah, that's true. They did the
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
happened was
it was
they
called
released it and then it died. It got hit by a car.
yeah, it says that it's called Project Acoustic Kitty.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was a total failure.
That's why I said like if they tried it on a cat, they easily try it on birds because like to be like, oh my god, my mission failed. I guess all that money goes to waste. Come on now, we really not that dumb.
Wow.
Your money didn't go to waste.
Okay,
You had about 3 other prototypes.
Oh, snap. Okay, number 7. Finland doesn't exist.
Who?
What?
Finland doesn't exist.
Oh,
It's a made-up country used to cover up. Yeah, Finland. It's a made-up country used to cover up
Good Mythical
fishing
Morning.
zones.
This theory goes back to Good Mythical Morning, where they think that Finland doesn't exist. Oh God, I don't even know what to say to that. Like,
I'm gonna say yes. Oh, if Finland exists.
Finland exists. Finland is a place on Earth with its own language and its own people.
Finnish.
They say some people from there do not believe that Finland even exists. People actually believe that this is a place that they just made up to cover up for fishing zones.
I mean, even if it was a place that was made up, it's still a place that exists. You can definitely make an island. There are a bunch of man-made islands, actually. That doesn't mean that doesn't exist. It just means that island was made by man.
Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Oh, aka Diddy and them.
Indeed, which we'll be talking about very soon.
Tupac, number 8. Tupac was replaced by an AI clone, and the real Tupac is running a cult in Cuba. People actually believe this.
Yeah, I don't buy into a lot of like the celebrity like switcheroo type things, especially because when you think about it, it's like I guess if you wanted to kidnap a guy and run a secret cult, you would have to fake their death. In order to do that, to achieve that goal, they would have to die because you don't want people knowing where they are. I just don't really, I can't really buy into that one.
I say maybe, yeah.
Well, it's ridiculous, but the only reason why people believed it is because a couple years, like in the early 2000s, early 2000s, a video surfaced online and it actually looked like Tupac.
There's a lot of videos like that nowadays, though. Like people have been saying that Michael Jackson never passed away.
The ones now, those are AI created.
The ones now are AI created.
Yeah,
but there was one that went
around
those. very soon after his death, where it was like, if Michael Jackson's dead, this was like way back when he first died, so AI wasn't really a thing. It existed, but not like in the way it does now, where it was a video of a person going through Michael Jackson's house, and people thought that was indeed Michael Jackson because it matched his stature, and it was like, y'all, he's dead. He's dead, y'all. I don't know what to tell you.
No,
RIP.
no, y'all, he's dead. Okay, so number 9. The moon is hollow and rings like a bell when struck.
Huh. Okay, I can see where they're coming with this one. Is this like the theory that's on the same wave of like the Aurora Borealis?
In a way.
Okay, I can kind of see that being true because there are a lot of meteors that are actually hollow on the inside. So they're a lot lighter than what people think they are, and that could very much be a possibility that it's just a hollow rock. I don't know if it's completely hollow, but I can definitely see that being true because there are definitely meteors that fall to the earth and there's nothing inside of it. It's just an empty shell.
Hmm. Nah, I think it has to be a little bit more dense and crustier, right?
I
Well,
don't know if it makes a
actually,
sound because who's over there striking the moon and shit, but I can see that being true.
Well, I mean, apparently there have
well,
been
it
landings that
says
no one bothered to tell me about. So, I mean,
damn.
For 50 years? No, just-
Damn.
and we're just now
Well,
hearing about Squirt
actually,
too.
you are just now hearing
it's
about Squirt.
real.
Don't lump me into that shit.
Actually, it's real. NASA experiments during the Apollo mission and has led to this wild hollow moon theory that basically when Apollo hit it, it rained. So that's what NASA is
But
saying.
also, the reason why I brought up the Aurora Borealis is because that's obviously based off of like the position of the moon, the position of the earth, very rare circumstances. It doesn't happen as much as people think. And
Hmm.
people say that when you're in the presence of the Aurora Borealis, like if you're actually there and they're actually visible, they make a sound. They hum. And there are like
Mm.
clips of the Aurora Borealis kind of humming and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. Well, number 10, this is hilarious because I am very, very adamant on always calling Pluto a planet because I don't fuck with nobody else say Pluto is still a planet. They always try to knock my little guy out. But the real reason Pluto was disclassified as a planet is because it's actually a prison for ancient gods.
I'm gonna say true. I'm gonna say it's true.
I'm leaving.
You know, I'm sorry, but my mind goes there. It makes sense. So it's so much stuff that we do not know about that we are programmed to actually think that we know about that we really don't know about. So, dang.
Pluto being an ancient planet for gods is kind of crazy, though. We can still travel there. And how
I
is it?
mean,
How are you imprisoning a god? How does that even work? If it was real, how would that even work? How you
Because
going
I
to
mean,
imprison an
wouldn't that be a certain force field?
What do you
a certain
mean?
what?
Force field. Like if you're gonna put a god. Now let's go back to the movies. You put a god in something, that force field is gonna have something on the outside with hieroglyphs or anything to hold that in, to hold that
Okay,
energy in.
kind of like going back to
So
the Titans of Hercules, like they're trapped underneath the earth, kind of thing. Okay,
yeah.
Oh,
So I
the
know.
kaiju?
like a kaiju,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh
Greek mythology
God.
believes that like there is a volcano titan that's trapped and
Oh,
down and
yeah.
put
Yeah,
them all in
true.
cages and stuff.
There's
That's
probably
why.
this stuff on Earth. We talked about
And
that.
oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's
Just
why I'm
waiting.
like, hey, I don't know. Even though this says it's ridiculous, but to me, it kind of makes sense because my
No,
conspiracies
I'm
go
on
off
the
of the
that's
norm.
ridiculous side
So
because
yeah.
Pluto doesn't even stay in our orbit. So how you gonna make sure that it's that they still there? Like Pluto is doesn't even it
But
doesn't they're not even in our
but
orbit.
but we don't know that though. We only know what they tell us.
I mean, you could get a telescope and look.
I mean, Pluto was a so-called planet before.
It's a dwarf planet. The reason why they consider Pluto a planet is because they thought it exists in our orbit and it thought that that orbit was consistent. And they actually realized that Pluto was coming in and out of our orbit very often. So they were like, okay, what is going on? Why is it fluctuating the way that these planets all other 8 aren't working on these same. All other 8 planets are doing the same exact thing except for you. What are you doing? Why are you the outlier? And then they found out how small it was and the size of it and the fact that it's actually not
A
even.
prison.
Yeah.
Definitely a prison. Definitely a prison.
It's too busy floating in and out of fucking orbit because it's too busy being a prison for gods and demigods.
They probably hear us right now. They was so close to knowing the truth.
And if we disappear, you know why. No, I'm just kidding.
This whole episode is
no
like
shit. Okay,
disappear bait.
this is all off Google.
Yeah, we gonna be on a watch.
This whole episode was for entertainment purposes only.
Everything was allegedly.
Everything. And this will be posted back to the beginning that everything is alleged, and the disclaimer will go there.
Yes, disclaimers. Don't disappear me. Please, no one, China. Please, China, don't make me disappear.
Oh, not China. China already got something to make the people disappear. And on top of that, they got a fake sun. Crazy. The fake sun. You can buy fake sun now. The whole neighborhood could be dark, and you can buy fake sun to put sun on your house. That's where, when she said the globe theory, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Why do they need a fake sun?
So does that mean that you believe in like the dome theory, that like we're all in a dome and like the sun is basically a rotating lamp of sorts?
In a way. I believe that it wasn't like that at first, but I believe more and more it is.
Wow.
The only reason why I don't believe in the dome theory is it's like, well, then how are we getting to space? But because people are like, well, we're not. That's the whole point, is that we're not going to space. It's only made an illusion to think that we're going into space. But,
or they just did that, or they did a slit in the little dome so they can go through.
Wouldn't you be able to see that? Like, what is that behind that thing?
A vagina.
Truly.
Technology is wow.
Because you can watch
technology is different.
rocket launches. You can go there live. Like, they happen here in Jacksonville all the time. So
I mean,
we have a Navy base here. So then it's like, if they're going into space, but then it's not actually space, then where are they going?
I don't know, but everything's different. And is the space or is the space deep water?
People say that the space is fake. Like, what we see astronauts do is just a simulation of, a lab. Like, we see them getting launched off, but the pod is empty, or like they're actually underground in NASA somewhere, stimulating space, and then just giving us images of what we want to see. And this theory is popular because, NASA, when they take pictures of the sky, they'll sometimes render them. Which means like they'll change, like they'll sometimes make something brighter than what it is, something closer than what it is. Like, that's very popular for them to do because they want you to be able to like really picture what it actually looks like. So sometimes if something's red, they'll make it like more pink, because if our human eyes were to see it, it would come off more pink than it would red. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories in there, like anthrax is living underneath the pillars of Antarctica and shit like that, and with the polar ice caps, like we're in danger of million-year-old diseases type stuff.
That's sad, because
but that's been proven though with the diseases. They're playing with diseases right now. It's scientists out there in Alaska and out there.
I know about that. I know about that. It's their job to dig up diseases because it's their job to also find the cure. So we won't be blindsided. So they do mess around with diseases, but there have actually been more polar ice caps growing this year not this year because, but last year than there ever was in recorded history. So there are actually more ice caps. Why are there all of a sudden now more ice caps than there was in the past 20 years? All the ice caps are basically melting and now
global warming, which is a conspiracy in itself.
Global warming, but now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's this huge glacier.
It's an actual thing, but some people think it's a conspiracy.
Oh, like our president.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Unfortunately.
Allegedly.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Lord.
That was a cute little I kind of want to do another one. Let me find a conspiracy quiz. I kind of want to do a factor cap real quick. Factor cap conspiracy. I'm definitely interested to know more about the controlling of people thing.
You know what? And now that I think about the MK Ultra project, now that takes me back to Tuskegee Airmen project when they was testing on them. Like they've been testing on people forever, like forever, ever.
Yeah, with
Like,
lobotomies,
oh my god,
with
yeah. And unfortunately, the black, the black was always the
the
one being
first
tested.
to get
We're the
tested.
lab rats.
Is that
We're
why we
still
die
lab rats
first
to
in
this
horror
day.
movies?
No, that's just racism.
All right, let's start this quiz. I just pulled this up. The website is called science.howstuffworks.com slash science versus myth, whatever. I'm not going to list the whole thing. Okay, so here's question one. Beware! Those streams of vapors behind airplanes, known as contrails, sometimes referred as blank by conspiracy theories. Option one is chemtrails. Option two is coat tails, and option three is chemical airstreams.
Hmm.
Chemical airstreams.
Chemical
Mm-hmm.
airstreams, y'all both agree?
Yeah.
Okay. The correct answer was chemtrails. Some people think that the streams behind airplanes are chemicals being used to control the weather, but there is zero proof or even evidence that these chemtrails are anything other than ordinary contrails, water vapor that freezes once it hits the cold air of the upper outer sphere.
Hmm.
Question
Hmm.
two. Why do some observers believe that the Twin Towers were rigged with the explosive when they were blown up as a part of a massive conspiracy on September 11th, 2001?
You got to
Option
read that
one.
again. You got to do that again without laughing because we cannot have that.
Yeah, we cannot have that. I was gonna say that. Oh, thank you. I was gonna say that quick. I'm like, y'all not gonna have me on camera with her laughing about some 9/11.
Okay.
Shit.
Sorry, cut it out. Cut it out.
I hear this out.
Why do
Everyone
some
get your.
observers believe that the Twin Towers were rigged with explosives and were blown up as a part of a massive conspiracy on September 11th, 2001? Option one. Top notch level Bush administrators exchanged emails about the building being rigged for demolition 3 weeks before the attack started. Option two. The building just mysteriously fell all at once in a high speed free fall. Or option three, the controlled demolitions explosives are easy to identify in high speed video replay.
Oh, I'm gonna say three.
Three?
Mm-hmm.
Three? The answer was the buildings just mysteriously fall all at once in a high speed free fall. Cruise any 9/11 conspiracy forum and you'll bound to run into one of these. The idea is that the towers just collapse all at once in a free fall, something that might point to carefully planned explosives, but it only takes one careful view in a still camera to see the reality that the towers sadly collapsed in a time of between 15 and 22 seconds.
But didn't a plane hit it?
Yeah, a plane hit the tower. So people are saying the plane hit the tower, but the way it fell looked like it kind of just went down on itself, which I guess technically it did. And people are saying if a plane were to hit a building like that, how could it have collapsed the way it did?
Oh, okay. The
Yeah.
pattern. So they're saying the pattern.
The pattern of the way that the buildings fell didn't seem like it was
Mm-hmm.
real for a lot of people, even though the
Yeah, it makes
sad,
sense.
yeah, like the sadness is that we were just kind of attacked. Do I believe that the government played a part of it? Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was people saying that there was proof that we were even being threatened of an attack this large, and like the government just didn't care, so they were like, no one's actually going to attack us, and then they did.
They thought fat meat wasn't greasy.
Okay, some people believe that an area beneath Denver is home to what exactly? A nuclear bomb factory, B, the headquarters of the New Order, or C, a massive neo-Nazi group plotting to take over Denver.
I'm gonna say B and C because the new Nazis are in the Illuminati. Okay.
Exactly.
So we already know it's B. It says it's true that Denver International Airport is a sprawling monstrosity and there are more conflicts and deaths on the premises. However, those bits and pieces don't seem to really prove that there is a traumatic conceals the headquarters of the New World Order, as some conspiracists think. Question 3. Let me see how many questions I got before I go all the way down. Okay, it's only a few more. I'm only going to do a few more. Okay, so let's see. It says gangsta rap was devised by corporate executives for what exact reason? A, to help keep private prisons full. B, to increase sales of tasers. Or to C, boost the profit of the drug cartel.
Damn, because I would say A and C. I would say A and C because both of them actually go side to side. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you just go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and do C. And it was A, to keep private prison full. In 2012, an anonymous internet post dropped a bomb on hip hop, revealing that an early 90s meeting between corporate bigwigs where rap albums markets would agree to push harder gangsta rap, uh, profilating a lifestyle that was to sure keep private prisons and business booming. Of course, U.S. prisons has not needed gangster rap albums to be profitable, which yeah, so sad.
Yeah, but I mean, definitely because we got to think about like I don't know if like y'all was really into rap, but 90s rap, you wasn't talking about this type of stuff now. You was more conscious. You was talking about hey, getting in school, doing your thing, making money, staying off of drugs. Like it was literally like a lot of conscious rap back then, and then all of a sudden it just changed, and then now it was just like get shot 90 times, live, deal these drugs, and this is like they're painting a narrative for sure.
Yeah,
Like it's a bunch of rappers that said they went to their people and was like, oh, I want to rap like this and I want to do this song, and it was a
right,
positive song, and they're like, oh no, that's not going to be great. I need you to do this, that,
right.
and the
There's a
third. So
bunch
yeah,
of
for sure.
artists that are like, yeah, I don't never do any of this shit. I just do it because that's what gets me money.
Yeah,
Oh, here's
for
an
sure.
interesting question. A 2014 studied found that half of the world's population had never heard of the Holocaust, and one third of those people didn't even believe it ever happened. What was their explanation? A, the Holocaust was created by a political ploy to confuse and mislead people. B, President Truman invented the Holocaust as a pretext for the Manhattan Project, which was to develop atomic weapons. Or C, because Hitler was a good guy.
B.
Because Hitler was a good guy.
You said B and you say C?
Yeah, I say C because people. It's a lot of people that still stand with Hitler.
That's true. A lot of people do still like what he did. It's like, what are we doing here? I'm gonna go with C. It was A. It was says the Holocaust was created as a political ploy to confuse and mislead people. In 2014, the Anti-Defamation League released a study showing that half of the responders that had never heard of the Holocaust, the systematic murder of Jews and other people during World War II, of those half who had heard of the murders, one third believed that the Holocaust was a fiction invented to further political gains of the mid 20th century. That's just not true, y'all. The Holocaust happened. There were survivors. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's really sad that people think that. But I mean, you have people now that say like, "Was slavery that bad? Like, you guys had a
Or slavery
home."
was a choice.
yeah, or slavery was a choice,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
you guys got
oh.
to
I
eat
always hate
and
Kanye for that
live.
statement. I know I'm gonna
Okay,
get some
here's a good
backlash because
one.
I said I hate Kanye. I don't give a
In
damn.
2016, I'm sorry. During the 2016 presidential election cycle, what sparked a belief that a potential human trafficking ring was operated outside of a Washington, D.C. pizza restaurant? A. Leaked messages between presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's emails. B. Rush Limbaugh's radio show. Or C. A white supremacist tweet.
Rush Limbaugh. Because I remember hearing about this at that time.
B.
It was a white supremacist tweet. In 2016, a white supremacist Twitter account spotted blatantly false information about a Washington traffic ring involving Hillary Clinton that originated in a pizza parlor in Washington, D.C. About a month later, a deranged man showed up with a gun to investigate the problem, blasting holes into the restaurant's interiors. Authorities quickly disproved this theory. And the very last one, this is kind of weird, but maybe some people like this. But the question is, what was the proof that Nirvana's lead singer Kurt Cobain died as a result of murder and not suicide? What was the proof, by the way, in quotation marks? A, the handwriting at the end of his suicide note was different from his penmanship that appeared in the beginning of the letter. B, on a later album, his wife Courtney Love alleged to the murdering of her husband in rather vague song lyrics. Or C, a now missing audio tape of the murdering act.
C.
Oh, this is a good one. I'm gonna go with A, B, A.
All right, I'm gonna go with, because I'm kind of interested, I'm gonna go with C because I would love that to be the actual answer. It was A. You were right. You were right. So it says the handwriting at the very end of his suicide note was different than the penmanship that appeared at the beginning of the letter. It says, high on heroin, Cobain ended his life with a gun, but not before he scribbled a page-long suicide note, one that ended with childlike pen strokes. Forensic investigators concluded that the writing was in fact done by Kurt Cobain, and that perhaps the overload of drugs in his system and his extreme emotional distress caused the deterioration of his penmanship at the end of his missive. So that is kind of interesting to me because I end up watching the movie. Oh my god, it just came out, Until Dawn. Which in the movie they're just stuck in a cycle, and as the night goes on, their penmanship gets more and more like scratchy because their minds aren't there anymore. So I think that's a very interesting thing to think about, is that like if your mind's not right, nothing about you is right. So I will go ahead and concede
Oh
to
yeah,
like the
no.
fact that he just committed
I don't
suicide.
know, but they kill off celebrities every day though.
Yeah. Some people think that the guy from One Direction, the one that just passed away, some people think that's a
Oh,
cover up.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
the guy from Friends, what's his name? He was so numb that he couldn't get out the hot tub, and some pills that he'd been taking forever, and all of a sudden these pills didn't work. Like, come on.
Who from Friends?
Mm-mm.
Who?
The one who passed
Um,
away.
the one that passed away, Friends.
Who
I thought
passed
he
away?
had a
Chandler,
heart attack. Hold on, let
Wait,
me
are you
look
talking
up.
about?
Are we talking about Chandler?
Oh, is that his
Chandler?
name? I've only seen
Chandler
Friends.
Bing. Well, that's his name in the show. Chandler Bing.
The tall
Chandler from
guy.
Friends. His name
Cause like,
is
wasn't it some
Matthew
pills or
Perry.
something?
His
Mm-hmm.
name is Matthew Perry. Let's see, Matthew Perry, American Canadian. Let's see, cause of death,
It was an overdose.
drowning. Yeah.
Yeah, because he took the
Acute
pills. He was in the
effects
hot
of
tub.
ketamine. Yeah, he had ketamine in his system.
They use that to tranquilize.
Yeah, ketamine is a tranquilizer drug. It does
Mm.
kind of keep you in that state of like,
But the killer part is he has taken them before. Like other friends came forward, like they gave it to him before. So the guy that gave him the drugs was just like, I guess he got arrested. So he's in jail now. But he's been serving to him many more times. So what happened this time
I
that
mean,
now
ketamine is
you?
one of those drugs that every time you take it, it really is. It's not like something your body can get used to. That's why a lot of people do ketamine. It's not like if you smoke weed for like a month, now you're used to that level of weed that you've been smoking and you can kind of like up it. Ketamine is
Hmm.
one of those drugs where if even if you take a little bit of it, like it can fuck you up.
Yeah, that's why I'm so
There
glad I
is
don't do
no building
drugs.
your system to ketamine. Yeah, there is no building your system to ketamine. Ketamine. That's why they call it going into a K hole because you do so much that you just lose that time.
Yikes!
Yeah, it's a very
Yikes!
scary drug. I would never want to do ketamine.
And
It
yeah,
doesn't sound fun to me.
it doesn't. None of that shit sounds fun. And
I don't even smoke weed. I can't even
I
smoke
feel
weed
you
and
on
have
that.
fun.
That's the only thing I'm ever gonna do. We're good on the other
What's that
shit.
Megan Thee Stallion lyric? I can't even smoke weed.
I can't
Like,
even handle
yeah.
smoking weed.
I also want to
But
tell you guys
okay.
this should be a part. So this part should be an outtake because I don't know if I really want to mention it or not because it's about a person that I'm talking to. But I don't want to mention what I call the person on the podcast because I know they watch it.
Oh, well, just
My code name will be. I don't want to do him dirty like I did the other ones, and just
Uh,
changing one letter of the name.
Andrew.
whole
Andrew.
name will be Cumrag.
Oh, well, we haven't gone there yet, so not yet. But let's call him Toothpick. No, that's mean because then people will think I'm talking about his body size. Let's call him Tide Pod. And I'm only saying that because there's a Tide Pod literally right here. So codename Tide Pod.
Uh,
Codename
whole name
Tide
Tide
Pod
Pod.
is a person that I've been talking to who I didn't necessarily think was interested in me, but I'm starting to think maybe could be interested in me. So I think I'm gonna ask this person out on a date and see what they say and kind of open the door to romanticism. And if they say yes, I'll let you guys know.
Well, okay.
Let you guys know about Tide Pod.
Well, this was a great episode, guys.
This was a great episode. Let's wrap it up with James's review.
We cannot hear you at all.
Hey, you on mute. Hella mute. Hella mute.
Okay. Well, I thought you'd never ask. So this is giving very Southwest vibes with like the beans and the peas. It also like gave me split pea soup vibes, which I actually tried for the first time like a couple of days ago at a diner. Um, yeah, it was on
Oh,
point.
delicious. I love it.
And I still have some left over. So I can't wait to have this again for lunch or something. Well done.
Well done indeed. And with that, hopefully we are all still alive next week to record and give you another beautiful episodes of Mouthfuls and Mic Drops. But until then, we are your lovely hosts. My name is Cookie. You can find me on Instagram at the Wet Babadook.
You can find me at IG, Elise_Lovella, or Facebook, Elise Lovella, or TikTok, Elise Lovella.
I'm James. You can find me on IG at James Law Des.
And hopefully, we will be dragging some more people onto the podcast since you guys seem to like the TikTok of our friend Rar Factor being on. Hopefully, we can drag some more people like Ivory or maybe even Nick to come on the podcast and see what
Megatron.
they can contribute. But until then,
Indeed, indeed.
we've been best friends, and Lovella's gonna go to sleep, but I'm gonna probably go try to play Fortnite for at least a little tiny bit.
Same.
And now let's say
Unfortunately, I have to edit.
later.
I have to edit. I have to be a big girl.
I'm going to play the
Bye.
game and then edit. Bye bye.
Bye.